Hello, this is Eric, and this is a speed paint. During this speed paint, I will tell you a little about myself, mainly how I started painting, how I learned to do it, and also a little about the various techniques I tend to use. So, without further ado, let's get started. I also must apologize for the Sony Vegas icons that keep popping up, and the unsteadiness of the speed paint. Really nothing I can do about it. Everybody did scribbles as a kid. You know, just drew some random thing on a piece of paper in kindergarten. Well, most of us anyway. I wasn't particularly good at it. Remember, I used to draw these little yellow birds with sunglasses and cool back-turned caps. Yeah. I really didn't find painting more interesting than anybody else did. It wasn't until I was 16 that I realized I actually enjoyed doing it. So, I started doing some nice scribbles using MS Paint. Then, I joined a class called 3D Media, since I had nothing else I was actually interested in. I thought this class would teach me how to draw better. In any case, it was the closest thing I could find that had a chance of teaching me at all. That wasn't the case. So, for a year and a half, I painted stickmen using paint. I also had an eye for painting dragons. Whether it looked good or not was another thing. So of course, I thought I was awesome and super good at painting stickmen and dragons. Then I looked at other speed paints across Asian plains of the place called YouTube. Yeah, those were the moments when you either say, fuck it, I'm done, or I have to step up my game and chew bubblegum while listening to the Beowulf soundtrack while punching bears. And so I did. At the middle of my second year of painting, I therefore upgraded from Microsoft Paint to Photoshop CS5. It was the start of another chapter for me. So for the rest of my second year, I just painted the way I had always done. Freehanding with the brush tool in Photoshop, just as I had done with paint. And slowly but surely, I got better at it. Picture by picture, you could see the difference. If this was a Rocky movie, this would be the fucking training montage. At the end of my third year, I was really pleased with myself, but wanted to get better, as always. So I applied to a program called Digital Design. I'm still here to this very day. Actually, it's only been 3 months since I joined this class. Can't say I don't recognize my position. And this is where I'm currently at. By now you have probably realized that I got this far in only 3.5 years. Plus a little scribbling here and there tied to the time. But in all seriousness, I think that's pretty impressive. And it shows that it's not hard to learn something if you put your heart and soul into it. There are no shortcuts though. Learning to paint is just like riding a bike. Except you can't ever be so good that you have nothing more to learn. Personally, I see my past, present and future learning experience in painting like a game without an ending. So, a little about how I paint. Before I get into this, let me just add I will not go through every single stage and tool I use. That will be for another time. Despite what you might believe, I only use a mouse with 4 buttons and a medium laptop to paint. No fancy digital pen or drawing pads. Now then, the techniques. There is basically only 3 methods I use when painting. Oh, and I have to pause the speed paint here. Pay attention. The first one, and the one I find the hardest but most fun to do. Super cool name, I know. I basically pick a random grungy brush, set it to random placement, size and brightness, and just go wild. I continue to do this until I see a shape or form in the clusterfuck that I have created. When I finally see a form I am happy with, I bring it out by simply applying shadows and light. The second method is the one I mostly use. This is where all those years of painting stickmen comes in handy. I start by drawing stickmen to indicate where and how the person or monster I am about to paint will stand or sit. When I'm satisfied with the random scribble, I draw out all the lines, making a complete character. Then I apply grey color, start working on shadows, and then go on to laying on some color. The goal with this is to eventually remove all the black lines to make it look more realistic. The third method is called 3D conversion. It is basically the same method as the second one, but adding one particular thing. Before I start to paint the picture, I model up a scene using Blender. This helps me to get a great perspective when I'm about to paint something that requires some amount of structural logic. I then simply paint over the mashup map I made from the 3D model. So, all in all, I think I'm good enough to be proud of myself, but I don't think I'm anywhere near what I want to be. When I watch my recent paintings, I think they're as good as they can get, at least within the range of my abilities. But then I go over and see what other people do, and the mind instantly goes over to the I suck process. And that is why I will never stop learning. There's always a bigger fish. and I want to be one of the biggest fishes out there. And on that note, my rambling is over. I hope you found this amazing self-biography helpful, and if nothing else, inspiring. Now I will leave you in the hands of my friend, the Speed Paint. Enjoy.